that instant stalemate attempt.
That is so funny. I love when people do this. So rook takes g5 is noting that if pawn takes g5, it's immediately a draw because the king on h7 has no moves.
And sometimes it'll work because you just like recapture naturally. Like, let's say it's a time scramble. It's worth a try. It's a 5% shot. It's still in a lost position. Go for it.
Yeah, and this rook e8 idea was clever in general because if the rook moves away from h5, it's pinning the g pawn, but you have no other moves. You're in zugzwang because if you play rook h1, g6 check, king h6, and rook h8 check would just win the rook, but it's also just checkmate to this poor king over here. So very nice conversion by Wesley. So he knows these endgames very well, and he deserved that game. But
what a game! Like that was.
He didn't take that rook.
I know. Now we're gonna have all these people not taking rooks. So today, guys, this is it's like a free coffee day or McDonald's like free drink. Like you can hang your rook on in the middle of the board, and this is the day to try it. Everyone's gonna see what happened in this game, and we're defying the laws of.
I love that. Chess Weeb goes, no rook Thursday.
No rook Thursday.
Yeah, and I see some people asking about increment. Yes, there is increment. There is a 1 second increment every time control. So there's 90 minutes of 5 minutes per side with a 1 second increment. Then there's 60 minutes of 3 minutes per side with a 1 second increment. And finally, there's 30 minutes of 1 minute per side with a 1 second increment. So always an increment for the players. That way they're just not flagging each other. But right now, back to this game here, we're on move 11. Knight f5 played, makes a lot of sense. You're getting to an advanced position with your knight. And this pawn on b6, this structure that Wesley has adopted in this game, I guess eventually he can try bishop b7, pawn c5, and sort of have a phalanx of pawns here in the center. But something just feels awkward about it to me, and maybe I'm just...
Black looks... No, this looks a little rushed for white. Wesley has everything. Knight c5 is coming. g6 isn't always terrible. I've more been trying to think about which time control. Like we're headed towards the 3 minute, and Vlad's been definitely slower than Wesley significantly so far by a minute and a half per game. But he handles his time pressure pretty well. Okay. I have the feeling his best time controls are 5 and 1 in this specific match, and 3 minutes, unless he plays faster, it's going to be tight. Because he's really like that last game he had 15 seconds for such a complicated position. I understand when it's a time scramble, but when it's not a time scramble, it's so hard to play accurately. And Wesley's going to punish that.
I mean, look at this position, right? This is a position that if, let's say you and I were playing, whatever side, we'd sit at the board for like half an hour trying to figure out which way to capture.
Which move order, yeah.
Right, like look at this. There's like every pawn here in the center. We got a little X going on, and it is very difficult. And, if you make a strategic inaccuracy, for example, if we just go back a move, he could have taken on d5 first, so after c5, then played d4.
Right.
And there are nuances in these variations that you really have to consider here, but instead he played d4 right away, which now allowed e takes d4. And, all right, we're going to get to a position.
Smart move. Knight c5 is smart. That's changing things up.
Yep.
Because if you were to capture on d5, it's an isolated pawn. It looked like Vlad spent a bunch of time calculating these sharp variations, maybe even pawn sacrifices, and Wesley's like ignored it immediately. He's practically saying like, all of the things you calculated, don't bother. I'm just going to play knight c5, not going to go for a pawn or anything like that, and that seems that's the right approach here. Everything's hanging.
And which bishop do you take? This bishop on b3, which he just
bishop on b3.
At some point you could consider knight d3 forking the queen and the bishop, but this is just 2 bishops for black. And how can you complain about a position like this?
You can't. This is a great position for Wesley, and he can regain that 2-point lead from here. This is a no-risk position. The question I have is, does Wesley push this hard? Because he has offered a draw. He hasn't he's won 2 games early on, like the first 2, and then afterwards it's been a bit, with black, he's shown that he's sometimes content, right, with the draw. Although here I think he's going to play for more because it really is risk-free, unless there's some tactics I'm missing. Maybe do you play bishop g5 here as white? Not for that diagonal, but to reroute it to g3? Because I just don't know where to put my pieces here. Okay, b4 is smart for a first move.
Yeah, because also another issue, there are two issues that white has. Is double pawns and black has the two bishops. And why is two bishops important in this position? Look at this bishop on b7. It doesn't look like it's doing much right now, but as soon as c5 gets in, look out for problems in this long diagonal here.
And he's sticking with a pawn, but that's the dynamic choice. Yeah, absolutely.
And in fact, the semi-open b file can help black because there's a pawn on b2, and you can attack this base pawn.
Queen
and
D7.
you don't want to go all in over there on the queen side for black, because white will play or try to play at least c4, maybe bishop c3, and counter on the king side. But queen d7, rook e8. Look at this.
Queen f1, a6.
Yeah,
a Wesley move.
Yep, just protect this pawn here with the bishop and say you're not going to get after this.
Oh,
wait,
bishop.
Wait, rook a7 possible?
Oh. I think so. But he played that pretty immediately. Once again, I don't trust myself. I trust Wesley. So
I trust Wesley too.
Rook a7. That looks like a pawn. I'm a pawn grabber.
So let's get an analysis board going and look at it. Yeah.
Master gave it to me.
Rook takes a7.
I paid Master for that.
This bishop is pinned to the queen. But I guess he'll go knight c8 and say, kick your rook away. Then I'm going to go take on f3 because your bishop on d2 is hanging.
Precise.
So actually,
knight c8 is that backwards knight move that is easy to miss. But
yeah, because the end of it.
The
Nice. So
you know,
he's playing now here. He just went queen b7, and he is
already he didn't blunder. This is really nice.
Yeah. So he went queen
b7.
b7.
You don't want to play queen g2 because the queen's offside there. Queen b5. Oh, did I die?
Yeah, but you're back. It seems like.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you're still alive, so that's very good. I'd be very sad otherwise. And I wouldn't be able to commentate this show without you. So, well, what do you make of this dynamic now? Because instead of having the two bishops, now I kind of like the threat, right? They often say the threat is stronger than the execution. And now that he's taken on f3, I feel like white is a bit relieved in the position. The queen on b5 is super active here. The pressure along the a file is still annoying. And now can I just take that pawn on h5? What was the point of that? He's trying to get active here.
Queen e2, worst case scenario.
What about queen b7 and like pinning your knight in a really weird way?
I like it. I'm only curious about the consequences after rook takes e3, and then at some point knight f4. It doesn't look like it's enough. So queen b7 could have been going for more. This should be just quite okay. King g2.
Yeah, in fact, it's possible we see a repetition of, he goes rook d3. I like that, I think. Rook d2 pins the knight, hits on b2.
I don't think black can do more, even if you regain this pawn on b2, because how do you get that bishop out off of f8 properly? And even then, c5 is a bit tender.
Yeah, and I like that move f5, just making it harder for the king to get out of the box, because the king needs to stay put, protecting f7. And if you try to go g6, then I take, and now we both have isolated pawns on the king side. So f5 is just, watch out.
Yeah, there's this knight f4, knight e6. It's the move Vichy played, right, against Kramnik.
Oh my gosh.
Knight f4, knight e6 in some position.
Make random moves like rook takes h2, even knight e6, takes. Now e7 is deadly because that's a pin here. And in fact, that's spells trouble. Wow, that's so nice and good call. Way to, recall that game. That is so nice.
From the Magnus video.
It doesn't, wait, knight f4? Did he have it?
No. Doesn't he have a check from behind?
But you bring your... you're not getting your pawn to e7. You're right. But now knight d5, knight e7 check is another threat.
Yeah, there's definitely that. But can I play f6 right now?
Then f6 is maybe knight e7.
Knight e7, king f7, knight g6, bishop d6.
Oh my gosh, it looks like it's so close to checkmate, but probably nothing more than just a...
Yeah, I had a position like this at World Blitz once, and I couldn't find a mate, and I ended up flagging. But maybe
wait, but it feels like there has to be some kind of knight f4, knight e6 mate. I don't know. I really want to find a mate.
If the bishop can stay on d6, don't see it, right? I mean, if it's on d6, but 5 seconds is, I think, the main issue. Knight e6.
Oh, I didn't even look at the clock. Wow.
No, he's been giving Wesley time odds pretty much the whole match.
So king e2. Play king e2. Where's the rook going?
Ah.
Okay, well, they made a draw there. But
Yeah.
That was fascinating though, because